Welcome back, Damsel DaBest.
Someone turn that into a theme song immediately. Right. No, just when y'all
Diddy.
thought no Diddy. just when y'all thought we weren't gonna come back like we said we would.
We spun the motherfucking block.
We spun the block, because look at us.
Look at
another episode. Look at you.
Look at us. All my bitches in bed, but
anyway, we back with another one, and so happy to be here.
Yes,
with my good sis Bri. So let's get into it. So we had, I wouldn't call him a fan, but a request, if you will, on the pod from a few fellas that we know in our life to basically talk about what y'all bitches be wanting.
Right.
What do the girlies be wanting in a man?
Right. What do you expect them to do? How do you expect them to look? Like, what are the overall expectations for these men? And I think that the men need to know.
Men need to know.
You've already got a man. So let's start with what are your expectations? Because, whatever I say is just going to sound like fruit single bullshit anyway. So let's get to the meat of the matter. Okay. What was the expectation? How do we achieve it?
Get a pen and paper. No, listen, as far as, well, okay, I'll start off with my dating history. It's been a little yikes, okay?
Okay.
It's always been a little shaky. And I feel like because before I was very much like, I can fix him. Like, I can change him.
I'm kind of in that area.
He's not educated, but that's okay. Like, he doesn't have as good a job as me, but that's okay. Like, I was very much just... Not saying that I just didn't have any standards, but I really was like, oh, he made me laugh, and he thinks I'm pretty. So...
Okay, see, those are my expectations.
You know what I mean? Like
exceeding them.
those were my expectations for men, and I think, well, first off, it kind of started with like myself not feeling like I was good enough to be with anyone other than that. Like, I don't know why. Not because I like never thought I wasn't pretty. Like, I've always thought I was, you're attractive.
Gorge, and you are inside and out.
Any whoozy whatsies. Your girl was not like that confident. And it was so weird because guys that I was like okay with just, fucking or like fucking around with used to be like fine, like very accomplished, whatever. But men that I chose to like actually be like my man, like my partners, just never met that expectation. So I knew, after my marriage and, the unfortunate passing of my previous husband, like I knew in my next relationship, I was like, okay, these are the things that I need. And I wrote them shits down.
Did you? For real?
Wrote them down, bitch. I was like, number one, he needs to be attractive. I know that sounds very like superficial, but I think, it's necessary. I need to know like the way you look. And I feel like from my experience when I was dating people that I didn't necessarily was like in love with the way they looked. I just, dated them to date them.
Right.
I was never like
head over heels. Could get deep into it.
Yeah, I feel the same way I could never really get into it. I would just always be like, oh, okay, you're here again.
Right. And there has to be that reciprocity too. Like, you need to think I'm fine for real.
Exactly. So it has to be an even exchange. I was like, I need to be with someone who I find as equally attractive as they find me. Check. Me and my man, I feel like we're pretty good looking couple. And I appreciate that it's like, because I feel like before when I was with niggas that weren't that attractive and they would try to like gas me up, it's like, obviously you're gassing me up because look at what you look like and look at what I look like. You know what I'm saying? So like the compliments never really hit the same as like now when my man be complimenting, be like, oh, you think I'm cute? Okay, I feel it. So so yeah, that's number one, attractive. 2, smart.
Whew.
Okay. And I don't necessarily mean the nigga has to go to like college or anything. I feel,
right.
you know, but he has to have some type of business by himself, a trade, something, and he has to be educated, book smart. Okay, my nigga had a library when I met him, library of books.
Facts. Something that you know about, even if you're just passionate about some stupid, just have
knowledgeable.
You know.
Teach me something. That was my thing. I wanted someone that I could learn something from, and I could, you know, listen. You know, like with my current partner, he's really good at like working on cars. He changes oil. He knows how to change tires. He knows how to do these things. He's very good at like historical things. Like he's very good at like just knowing about like facts, and that allows us to actually have like banter back and forth. Like you know stuff, I know stuff. We're able to go back and forth. One thing that I hated was in my previous relationship was like, oh my God, I hate the way you talk. Like you sound like an idiot
all the time, and then be talking condescending to me, like I'm the one that's
like I'm wrong just because you're not knowledgeable. Like I think the biggest thing with that is just also being equally yoked. So that's number 3, needing to be equally yoked with the person. I think we touched on this in a previous episode, but you know, I think a lot of people be getting frustrated when like their relationships don't work, and they feel like, oh, it's because, you know, he's this or she's that. Y'all probably just
not compatible.
Not compatible, and you're forcing something just to say like you have a person. Find someone that you have similarities with. Like me and my partner, same type of humor. I needed someone that had the same type of humor than me.
Yes.
Okay? We both real dry. We both laugh, literally belly rolling over the dumbest shit. But I know, like, we get the joke.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. I hated being with people, like, that didn't find me funny.
Bruh, I remember that for both of us. But people in general who don't think you're funny, being funny takes intelligence in the first place. Right. So you already checked that off. But, like, when you know you get people belly laughing, like tearing up, and you over here like giving you thought that was funny type energy.
Right. It's like, I know I'm fucking hilarious. Like, what are you talking about?
Even if it wasn't, you don't like to laugh at the effort. Like, you don't like to have a good time. I mean? Like, that means long term, even if you really old and you trying some really lame ass shit, you can't laugh a little bit.
Right.
A little shoulder shuffle.
Hello. So needing someone to laugh with.
Somebody that likes.
And finally, financially responsible.
Wow. You hit those.
That's a big one. You need to be financially responsible. And I hate like this notion. You got niggas that be working fast food talking about, oh, she wanted me to buy a Birkin. Sir, she's not talking about you.
Clearly.
She's not talking about you.
At all. You can't maintain that kind of a person anyway. She's not talking about
so
you.
We're not talking about you.
Stay in your lane,
Stay
brother.
in your lane. Again, equally yoke yourself with someone who, you know, you work in whatever type of... If Michael Kors and Coach is in your budget, then fine. Hell, if Steve Madden at the TJ Maxx is in your budget, then that's fine too. But being with someone who is equally financially... like in the same bracket as you, and I don't even mean like making astronomically more,
right?
But to the point where it's like I don't feel like I'm drowning in taking care of things. Like I felt like that in all of my previous relationships, where it's like, oh, I'm paying all the bills and you're not buying me shit. You should have extra money to at least buy me some type of gift, because if I'm taking the legwork on the bill responsibility, then like, why aren't you getting me $5 flowers? Like, why aren't you doing little things that are within your budget to still try to make me feel special? So I said, fuck it. I need to be with somebody that's just at least like every 2 weeks we getting paid some type of similar type vibe. And if we're not, you at least are financially responsible enough to where if you don't make as much money than me, I'm not going to feel it.
Right.
I'm not gonna know.
I'm not gonna hurt.
And it is what it is. So yeah, those are my big things. And I feel like with men, it's really not that hard. I think, you know, again, y'all need to stop finding bitches that like are not even at your fucking level.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, stop trying to get a Megan Good when, like, you're not even close to what a bitch like that would be looking
like,
for.
Don't go after the woman that clearly wants the bags and stuff. If all you're gonna do is complain about how you gotta buy her another bag or buy her set of shoes or take her out to eat, if that's the kind of shit you're always complaining about, then that is not the kind of person for you. So quit trying to stay in your lane. Stay in your bracket. Like, it's, you can find the toppest tier of the kind of people that you want in that, but you have to be equally yoked. And if you're over here trying to, everybody thinks it's like opposites attract, and they're like, oh no, those are the best. It's not. Opposites attracting still have to have a baseline of similarity though. Like, everything can't be completely opposite, which means you can't have that same kind of connection if you're at odds all the time, or if you don't have the same mindsets or the same interests, which is in my head, that's the same in the dating aspect of being equally yoked. Like, if you want a natural girl, you can't keep going after.
You can't keep going, and that's also like going to a point of understanding the type of bitch that you are even with. Like, if you are in a relationship, right? Like, you know, don't be mad that you're with a girl. Like, for example, I'm very upfront with all men that I date, and it's like, I'm a Barbie. I like nails done, hair done, makeup, clothes. Like, I like those things. So if you're not into that, then, like, I don't know what to tell you. I feel like a lot of men kind of have this thing where they want a woman that looks like that, but they don't understand the maintenance. They don't understand the upkeep. No. You know what I mean? Like, they don't understand, oh, hair costs $300, nails cost $100, toes, clothes, shoes, all the things, all those things cost. So if you're not into that, then get you a natural girl. Right. Or get whatever. Get you a natural girl. Get you that nerdy girl. Get you the one that's gonna sit in the house with you all day and watch it and don't want to go nowhere. Like, y'all introverted people be trying to pick extroverted women too. That's the same thing. She gonna want to be outside. You got her outside, so she's gonna want to be outside. You can't try to keep a bird in the cage. Right. Like, you can't keep a tiger locked up. Maybe sometimes she wanna roam around the enclosure a little bit. Go to a fucking library if you want somebody to go sit in the house with you. Like, exactly. So I think men be making it just like really hard, and then you have like these male podcasts that just be giving y'all such bullshit information about how, like, there's this podcast that has actually, I think, been banned off YouTube, where like they don't monetize anymore, but the Fresh and Fit podcast is these two over 30 ass niggas who are unmarried, okay, don't have bitches for real. Cause first of all, that's another thing. Y'all be letting niggas that quite literally don't have bitches try to tell you how to get bitches. How does that work? How does that work? Listen to your girls, okay? Because we get niggas, and quite frankly, if I wanted to get bitches, I could get them too. Yes, hello. So it's like, clock that tea. But I'm just saying, like, y'all be listening to men, they're literally over 34, unmarried, and probably the women that they do get with only like get with them because they have a podcast. That's like problematic. But, you know, I think they're like, oh, women are the gatekeepers of sex, men are the gatekeepers of marriage. While I won't say that they're entirely wrong with that, it's the way that they go about it, making it seem like in order for a woman to get a man to want to marry them, they have to hit all these things. And that's a fact. Well, how it should be. Yes. Right. You do have to hit all those things. Right. But what I'll say is, like, with them, I think the way they position it is like, oh, you'll never get a man to want to marry you if you don't hit these specific, like, very misogynistic things of like, oh, like, what do you bring to the table? All these other things, like, women don't cook, niggas don't build houses anymore. How about that? That's a fact. Niggas don't, like I said, when I met my man and he was changing oil and stuff, I was like, where they do that at? Who taught you how to do that? Right, because
people won't even want to pay for you to just get it. Like, even if you're not going to do it,
exactly,
be able to help me get it done.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, that whole notion of, you know, oh, women are so hard. We're really not.
We're not.
Lead. And if you want to lead, make sure you know where the fuck we're going.
And if you don't want to lead, then fall in line, ho. Like, it's okay if you don't want to take charge. It's okay if you don't want to lead her and be responsible for all this stuff. Right. I know so many men who are always being like, oh, they want us to take care of them and take them places and make sure they're good when they're sick. Yes. Yeah, that's your job. That's your job.
And then not only that, like, even going to the age-old question of like, oh, what do y'all actually want to eat? You want to know? I'm about to give y'all some free game, okay? Mm-hmm. Some free game. Ladies, I'm so sorry. But a lot of times when girls be like, oh, I don't know where we want to eat, it's because, bitch, I hope you remember the shit that I like and just pick what you think I would want to eat. Okay. Literally. If you know I don't fucking eat pizza, don't say, oh, well, we can eat at Little Caesars. You know I don't like that place. You know I don't want to eat that.
Exactly. Just pick because we ate a bunch of places at this point.
Exactly. Pick one. Chick-fil-A is always a good, or how about this? Don't even ask me.
Just go get it.
Just go get it.
Remember what my order is. Put the notes in your phone. Put it in that context so you know, okay, the Chick-fil-A one is usually this. Even if it's not what she wants, she's gonna eat it. She's gonna want it.
I'm gonna eat it because you at least went to a place that you know that I'm prone to eat a lot. All that asking, oh, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. What do you want? And then you're like, oh, I don't know. Just pick.
Just pick it.
Just go get it.
Literally.
I don't want to use, a lot of times women, we don't want to always use our brain all the time, baby.
You know what? We don't. Because one, we're just a girl.
I'm just a girl.
And let us act in that feminine energy. So if you already don't know, and you know when you ask her, she's not going to know, just have something random delivered. Be like, ooh, yeah, it's a food challenge. Ooh, don't
be creative. Be creative. Y'all niggas don't be creative no more, and that's really the issue too. You know, like, I think a lot of men, again, going back to thinking that it's just so difficult to play. It's really not. It's lack of creativity, and it's lack of romance.
Lack of romance.
Bitches like
you doing chores is you doing chores. That's not romantic. It's a nice gesture, but that's not romantic.
That's not romantic.
And you're not getting no cool chick. But you decide to do it when you're supposed to. Like, every now and then, maybe you do. Because it's unexpected. But, like, doing the basic things, it's the lack of romance. And you just want to make sure to incorporate that.
It's really lack of romance. It's also, like, and what we mean by romance, it's like, you know, a bitch don't have to come home to like roses and flowers like every fucking day.
No.
But the romantic gesture of like, my girl said she's always wanted to do that hotel thing with like the balloons and the flowers everywhere. Let me try that out.
Right.
Let me do that. You know, let me
do the notes. The different favorite things I liked about you, and put it in a little fishbowl so then I have little cute things to remember. That's cute. I mean? Sweet, it's thoughtful. It's sweet and thoughtful. Sweet and intentional.
Sweet, intentional, thoughtful. Just, you know, letting your girl know that, like, wow, you are the most special thing to me.
Yes. And
I know I may have like trouble expressing myself to you in words. So like, here are just all the things.
Right.
You know, that's why a lot of women prefer like handwritten vows, because it's like, if we're getting married, I need to hear you tell me like, why are we getting married right now? You can recite the, you know, till death do us part, right, whatever, but like, tell me why we're getting married.
Literally, genuinely, think about what makes you want to commit and spend the rest of your life with me, and be able to tell me that. Because if you can't tell me this, then what can you tell me? When things get hard, what else then can you tell me? If I'm having a bad day and need a compliment, you can't tell me, because you couldn't even tell us on the biggest day, like, hello, what we're committing for.
Y'all niggas need to learn how to articulate. But you know, I know we've been real hard on the men.
True.
So now we can segue into basically, what kind of women do we think men would want?
Well, we know what they want: big booty bitches.
Really?
Yes. That's still very, very
You think
much
that's it? They
so.
just want a fat ass, big titties.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Big titties, little waist. Yada, 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 yada,
Ain't
yada,
got no titties,
yada.
but you know. No, I do. Unfortunately, I think because they're always talking about natural bodies. Look at here. Y'all don't even know this bun on my head ain't natural. So I don't want to hear
giving
nothing
away the
about
secrets, bitch. Hush.
They will never know.
I know something you don't.
But things like I think that's just really no, I also think men want like a caretaker. Kind of what they want. They say they want feminine. Again, they want feminine until they don't have to like lead her, or until she want to talk back, until she want to get a little aggressive, assertive. Then they think that you can't be feminine and that. I can be both. But I think a lot of men want passive and feminine, big booty bitches. That's why, and they say they want a best friend, but I don't think that's what they want though.
I'll put it like this, and I don't need all the women out here calling me a pick-me and shit because of what I'm about to say.
Say it.
But
With your chest.
I do feel like some of you bitches be a little rough.
This is true.
Y'all be a little rough around the edges. Y'all think that shit cute. It's not cute hollering and yelling at your nigga all the time.
Absolutely not.
That shit is not cute. Niggas don't like that. Every time they come through the door, you with the rah-rah shit. Okay?
Some of them do like it, but then your roughneck.
Most of them don't.
Most of them don't.
Even the ones that say, oh, I like a crazy... Like, that shit gets exhausting.
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of times as women, we try to excuse that behavior on the I'm just a girl tip. Like, oh, whatever. Like, this about me. But... something that, like, I'll even say for my own personal relationship, like, something that I feel like my partner really appreciates is that I talk to him softly. Because in his previous relationship, he didn't have someone that talked to him softly. He had someone that was always screaming and crying and carrying on and just being very, like, heightened in her responses. And it's like, that shit is draining. And so because I talk to him, like, okay, hey, and obviously I've had my moments where I'm like, oh my God,
right,
but
of course,
it always goes back to like, okay, well, what's wrong?
Right.
Like, can we talk about it? You know what I mean? Like being soft, I'm very much a Daddy, I'm your baby.
Okay, Mariah.
I don't care. I'm very soft for my man, and I feel like he appreciates it, even when he acts like, oh my God, like you're such a baby or whatever.
Yes.
I know he likes to baby me a little bit. I feel like men like a little, they like a little dainty thing. Now I'm not saying just be like a fucking doormat. You know what I mean? Like still have business about yourself, still have a brain. But if this is supposed to be a man that like you like and you care about, you love, watch your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, watch your tone. Like,
watch your tone.
Watch your tone. Like,
you make a good point about that, though, because the way you talk to, it's the same way when you talk to children, too.
Yes.
Like, if you're not kind of delicate or precise in the way, or mindful is really all it is, just being mindful of the audience that you're talking to, then it makes things a lot more tense, or the message is misconstrued, whatever the case. But when you get to be softer and talk to them, because they're also your friends, so they don't mean no harm, so it's like you can have it conversationally. That's beautiful, and I love that you have that. And I think a lot of women those are the expectations. We said you asked me, what do I think men actually want? That's what I think they're after. That's what I've seen them after. But what do they need? What do they need is that somebody that's going to listen to them, be soft with them, not baby them like their mama, because we're not doing that again. We caretaker, but not your mama. Like you have to be able to be self-sufficient. But I think they also want somebody that they say they want somebody to challenge them a little bit. That's going to push them a little bit. I think that's a good thing for somebody to have. But again, though, in practice, I don't think that's actually that's what the things they say. They're like, oh, I want a girl that got drive, that works hard, that does all these things.
I feel like that goes back to what we were talking about as far as like what women desire. I think some men are very delusional in like where they are in life and not understanding. Actually, put it like this. Dom sent me this like it was like a survey or whatever that you fill out, basically trying to like what kind of partner like you're looking for. Why the fuck that survey told me that only 0.01% of men in the US meet my qualifications.
Wow, elitist much.
It was wild, and his was like 0.2 of women.
Elitist.
I'm just saying,
like, found each other.
Well, it is what it is. Like, we found each other, I guess. But doing things like that has really shown me that, like, oh, it really is hard out here in these streets to find someone that like literally checks off all of your boxes.
Yeah, that's true.
Because mine, I think, was only like 17,000 men in the entire country meet my qualifications. So that's not a lot when you really put it into perspective. Like, I'm not gonna meet 17,000 niggas, you know what I mean, like that, and that are unmarried, right? So it's like so I was like, is this shit right? But no, it really lets you know, like, okay, some things you are going to have to like give up. So again, like going back to, you know, what I think men want. Men say they want a driven woman, but if that woman has a little bit more drive than you, it's going to make you feel demasculated, which in turn will then make you feel like she's too aggressive. And then now we're back in this cycle of like, you're trying to be a man and it's like, oh no, I think you're a bitch. So there's that.
You're right. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. Like, I was like, I heard it. I know what I was saying. No, but yeah, it does. They need to, because then it does emasculate them or makes them feel.
Well, what about you, bitch? Like, what are you? Okay, I know you asked me from the perspective of like, because I'm in a relationship. What are you looking for in your next like official dishel?
Well, and some of the things, I kind of did write some things down, kind of like you, but mine weren't as good, so it hasn't happened yet. I don't think I even put smart on there, so it's like,
oh shit,
no wonder.
But dumb niggas can still apply, right? Clearly,
because you can always get an education. What am I looking? I am looking for somebody that is funny. We've mentioned this before though in other podcasts, but like somebody that can be my friend I can laugh with. I also expect a more romantic kind of partner, somebody that, or just a planner at least. Like, at least you got the ability to Google search something and make it happen for us. But I think I also put like kind or patient, because it takes a lot to keep clearly you saw it's hard to keep the train on the track. So sometimes you need somebody to bring it right back. So get on the same page. And also somebody financially well off, because if you don't have it, it's already a battle that you have to overcome with your own self, and then an additional battle in your relationship that doesn't have to be. Like, if you just go into it already kind of being at the same level, or again, nothing extreme, not saying you got to make buku crazy money, but just you got your bills paid, you're maintaining yourself well, and have enough to do the extra things, like go out to eat, like go on a cute date, like go on a little weekend trip. Like, those things add up, because those are the little memories and the moments that you end up getting to build.
For sure. And I also learned that broke niggas ain't never happy.
And broke niggas are never happy.
Broke niggas ain't never happy. Honestly, when niggas don't got no motion, no money, quite literally some of the most miserable people on the planet.
Yeah, because again, they feel emasculated. They can't provide for themselves. One of the top pillars for being a man to most men is being able to provide. You can't even provide for yourself. Like, miserable. Then all y'all do is go slang and D because you're like, I ain't got nothing else to do. I gotta be good at something.
Pillar to post with that on a world tour.
It's crazy.
Oh, shit.
But you definitely just have to be well off, and you can get money just like uneducated guys can get educated, but odds are you're not, because your mindset is gonna stay. You're stuck in that mindset. Yeah. But
I mean, all in all, as far as what women want, I feel like it's easier. Nice, good dick, money, smart.
Yeah.
For men, I feel like it really depends on...
Y'all need the same thing. Nice, good, coochie, smart.
Yeah. Funny. But also, like, in either of those scenarios, whatever type of woman you are, whatever type of man you are, you should be looking for someone who is very much the same. I don't believe in that whole notion opposites attract, because you're always going to find yourself in arguments.
I agree.
I think, me and my current partner, we've been together almost I think it's been 1.5 years now. And we never argue for real. And I think it's because we're basically the same person. So I can't argue with you because it's like arguing with myself. You know what I'm saying? In any other relationship I've been in, the arguing would always be like yelling to the top of my lungs because why are you so fucking stupid?
Right. And disrespectful.
And disrespectful. And why do I hate everything that is coming out of your mouth? And it's because we're not the same. Right. You're fucking over here with it and I'm over here. We are not Switzerland. We are not meeting in the middle.
Yeah. And I think that even I've been in a similar situation where it's like our argumentative styles just didn't work, or we're not the same. We off rip didn't have things in common. Mm-hmm. Like I'm religious. I'm Christian. He's spiritual. We're done dealing with spiritual demons and spirits and whatnot. Like,
absolutely not, because I believe that Jesus Christ gave his only life to save mine. Hello, and amen. What did he do? He rose on the what?
Third day.
On the third day. Hallelujah.
Y'all better preach.
Y'all better know somebody, and if you don't,
hey,
shut. I need somebody who gonna understand me when I start.
Yeah, and also feel that for real, like, and
understand, yes, and feel the spirit move.
You need to know that, heathen, right? He done did something for you besides just wake you up. You thought you did that on your own? Please, everything I have, hallelujah, thank to him.
Shout out to God.
Yeah, big guy upstairs. He know what he's doing. The only thing he didn't know what he was doing is putting me and so would you in these like very off situations in schools. Like, why would you put a black princess like me in a vanilla PWI or in these like white high schools? Now I'm an Oreo. Now I'm 30 and still trying to figure out like what different. I just learned about Nuck If You Buck 2 weeks ago.
Brianna Kane. Listen, I feel like we have a little bit different experience with that because you know me, bitch. I grew up around the Wahites.
True.
All up and through till I went to college for real. Like college was when I decided to take a stand against my mother and say, fuck that. I'm going to HBCU. I don't care. Because I'll say this for me, like I was very much like the cookie cutter white black girl. Like I had a Demi Lovato bang. My leave out was fried. Like my shit was literally, I didn't wear my hair any other than straight, but it was so heat damaged. My God. All of my friends, for the most part, except for like my closest friends were black, but like most of my like school friends up until I want to say my junior year of high school were white. And I hung around white kids. I went to white parties, fucked around with the pink meat a couple of times. Yuck. But right, the pastramis. But yeah, that was me, and it wasn't until I went to HBCU, and even like when I decided to go to FAM, you know, Florida State is like right across the tracks. I was still like going to shit like White Trash Wednesday all the time, and yeah, and like being in that type of space. And it wasn't until I was fucking with this dude, and he was a member of this frat. It was called Sigma Alpha Epsilon SAE, and I couldn't understand why every time I would go to like the frat, it was just always like weird vibes. Now, being the only black person, I've noted, like, I know how to like work a room, right. You know, you got to. So it was never like, oh my God, this is so uncomfortable for me. It's just like, oh, I'm just the only black person here. So they're probably like, oh, we don't want to like say anything weird. And I remember growing up, like, kids used to say the N-word in songs all the time, and it just was always supposed to be like, oh, whatever, because it's a song, right?
No.
And no, obviously I know that now. But like growing
for our new viewers, no.
For our new, absolutely the fuck not. Don't try it. But yeah, and long story short, I found out that they used to have a chant, or not used to, but they had a chant in their frat that said, there'll never be a nigger in SAE. And their cannon that they had at the frat house happened to be like pointed at FAM. Yeah. So that was my last time messing with a non-black person, because I was like, oh, this is fucking weird. And then another thing that just would always bother me is them trying so hard to convince themselves that they're not racist. If you have to convince baby, you don't gotta convince me. Right, I have black friends. My favorite artist is Lil Wayne. All this other shit. Listen,
please be quiet.
Please hush. Because it just
wrap it
up. Like, but yeah, girl. Anyway, that was the last time I fucked with the pink meat, and just decided I am.
For the soldiers.
I'ma be a nigga for life. Yeah. That's me. But anyway, what about you? Like, your experience, like, have you ever dabbled in the pink meat? Were you that deep, or?
No. So there's not a lot of black people in New Mexico in general.
I can imagine.
So there weren't a ton of options anyway. However, they didn't approach me. The Wahites did not, pull up on me, didn't throw no wrist. They did not try at all. But I was always like one of like 10 of the other black people in the entire schools. I was in high school and middle school and college. So I didn't get closer to having really my black card till I moved out here. Which is unfortunate, but I went to black church, so that was the only place where I really ever
for
saw
sure, that was
other
me too.
Black people.
Yeah,
and in church for real, like every Saturday for practice, every Sunday for this, every Wednesday, whatever. But in general, no, unfortunately I'm not getting enough international loving, okay? So if y'all like what you like, let me know. Just hit your girl up, go ahead and slide. You might have a chance.
I'm dead.
I don't discriminate for real, but again, you gotta come with all those other things.
I discriminate now, I'll say, and not like discriminate like if you do interracial, like I don't care. But I think for me personally, being in interracial relationships previously were just always so fucking hard for no reason. Yeah. And that's why, after that incident with messing with, the racist frat boy, it's like you're trying so hard to convince me that you or your family or your friends aren't racist. It's like that's literally half of your relationship is convincing that like, oh, this is fine. Right. I don't like that. I think for me, always being the only black person was always having to like explain shit to people. Yeah. And that was always so frustrating, like explaining why my hair is different today than it was last week and the week before
too, and then get it braided the next day. They're like, wow, your hair grows so fast.
You know what I mean? Like dumb shit like that, or oh, why did your hair like kind of smell like that? Because I'm using Blue Magic grease, and like y'all just
you put grease in your hair. Yeah, and they're like, oh, we wash grease out of our hair. I gotta wash my hair every day. I can't do that
off. Or going to my little white friend's house and ask for a washcloth, and they looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, true. A washcloth wash my body, and y'all don't use that. And now, because apparently white people think using washcloths is like for poor people or some shit.
It's too. They said there was a guy at school that did the same thing. He's like, well, my dermatologist said it was too abrasive for my skin, so I should use my hands.
Gross. You know what I mean? Like having to explain shit like that, or like even culturally, like again, going to your white friend's house and they drinking like cups of milk with like every dinner or whatever. It's just like, can I please have some water or some juice? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean you're having casserole again? I don't want that.
That is so funny that you were even allowed to go to people's houses. I wasn't even allowed to go. So I
had a single mom, so she really didn't have a choice. It was very much like, that's so funny. Hey,
I'm gonna go somewhere. My brother had the same kind of experience, but because I'm the oldest, my parents were very strict on me. Yeah. So it was, gotta be at home at X time. Gotta do this. Gotta do that. Call as soon as you get here. This or that. And so I didn't even get a chance to fully explore other groups in general. Like, not just black people, but
just people in general.
Just people. That's why I'm still so socially awkward.
And not even for nothing. Like, and it's not to, talk shit about my mom, but she definitely is one of those black people that like, I didn't have like trailer trash white friends. I had like, these people were living in like mansions and like gated communities and stuff. So to my mom, she was like, I guess wanting to expose me to what that life is, like my friends were going golfing and like we played tennis and type shit like on the weekends, like that was our, like we would go to the country clubs and my little black ass was getting in on like their guest pass type shit. So like, I think for her, in her mind, she's like the proximity of affluency was like enough for her to let go of that whole like, oh, I don't want you over there. And luckily for me, nothing like bad happened. And most of, the little white friends I did have, their parents were nice to me. Like nobody treated me any type of way, and they were good to me. And they, I don't like to say it like that, like, I was like a house nigga or some shit, but like, they were nice people. It's just, it's very much a lot of the racism that I even went through being like the only black kid usually came from like teachers, which was the weirdest shit. It was always so frustrating. I had this racist ass bitch. Her name was Miss Blanton. I hope she's rotting in hell right now. Because she was old as fuck when I was in middle school, so I'm pretty sure her old ass is dead somewhere now. But she was so racist. Like, she was always telling like how proud she was to be the granddaughter of like a Confederate soldier, and like still had his memorabilia and stuff. I remember during like Black History Month, at the time I was like the only black kid, and then we had finally got like a new black kid, and I think his name was DeAndre or something like that. So now instead of one, now it's two niggas in the classroom. And it was Black History Month, and we watched this tired ass documentary about Rosa Parks. And I remember she was like teaching us, and she literally stopped in the middle of her lesson, looked dead smack at me, and DeAndre was like, is it okay if I just say black instead of African American? Because African American is just like very long to say. Now, mind you, what am I supposed to say, right? Like, we're the only two black people in class, so we looked at each other and we're like, yeah, it's fine to say black. Like, it's not that bad. But she would do like little shit like that, or like constantly pick on me. I had this fuck ass bully. His name was Thomas. I'm saying all types of names. I don't give a fuck. Fuck all them people. But he used to bully the shit out of me. And I'll never forget, like, I came to class late, and she would always like change her desk around in some like weird shape. Today it was like in a U shape or whatever. And I had to sit in front of him because like the desk I was going to sit in was someone already sat there. We didn't have assigned seats. So I sat in front of him and he was pissed that I even had the audacity to like sit in front of him. So he was like, I don't want you sitting in front of me, and started kicking the shit out of my desk. Like, and he used to wear these big ass Georgia boots all the time. So like he would kick it and it would like push my desk. It kept pushing my desk forward and forward to the point like now my desk is like in the middle of the classroom because of how hard he was like kicking my shit. And so I'm not engaging. I'm just like, please stop, whatever.
Right.
Do you know this bitch is gonna walk up to me and tell me, well, I don't know why you would sit there anyway. Like, why would you sit there?
What do you mean?
Basically trying to say, like, you already know, like, he doesn't like you type shit. So, like, why would you sit there? Like, she would just always condone that type of nasty ass behavior from her
real.
white, like, especially from the white kids that, like, were super rich in the private school. Because it was levels. Like, and also I feel like she knew I wasn't like a rich black kid. I was there on scholarship, like academic scholarship at that. So I also feel like she would purposely do things to try to like bring my grades down.
Right.
The last straw that I had with that bitch was, so when you go to private school, you don't really have to like try out for cheer teams or football teams. Like you just join. And I was in 8th grade. So in order to do 9th grade cheer, which was high school cheer, like you just had to go to a meeting. Mind you, I have a single mom. She works. She could not go to the meeting. She could not go to the interest meeting. But I knew this other girl that I was classmates with, Maggie. Her mom wasn't going to be there because her mom ran marathons. So her mom was going to be gone or whatever. And I'm like, oh, it's very simple. It's just a packet. Like, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I know you said it was like required. So I talked to her about it. And I'm thinking it's all good. Why the next day I try to go get the packet, she looked at me and was like, your mom didn't come to the meeting. And I'm like, well, my mom couldn't come because she was working. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And she was like, well, the meeting's mandatory and she didn't come. So maybe next year. And like went like, and shrugged her shoulders in my face.
What? And
walked away from me. And I just was so, like, I literally just stood in the hallway, like, crying. Because, mind you, I'm 13. Right. And I'm, like, you're this, and she was a big, fat, slobotomist, like, white woman, like, just roly-poly-oly. And she used to have these gnarled-ass, like, feet. So she was always wearing flip-flops because I guess her fat-ass feet couldn't get in, like, regular shoes. She was just a gross individual. And like Miss Trunchbull from Matilda, like very much that type of aesthetic. And she just was never, she was never trying to be like accommodating to any of the black students, but like to the white kids, like she would move like hell and high water for. And it was very obvious, like her disdain. And it was like other teachers like that, but she was the worst one. Dang. She was the worst one. But yeah.
I hate that you had that experience. That really sucks. I hate that you had several kinds of experiences even like that.
I think that's why, like, but I'm actually kind of not happy for them, but I'm grateful that it allows me to know how to move around white people. Like, you know, now working in a corporate space, I feel like that's what hinders a lot of black people from working good corporate jobs or like getting in corporate fields, because their main fear is like, I don't want to work around white people. I don't want to like deal with that, because it very much is like a game, right? Like of being not necessarily a token, but like when you work in corporate and you're black, you don't get the privilege of just like sitting back and just riding the wave. You have to be exceptional at all times and get your name into rooms that you're not even like
invited in at all, considered for. You have to go above and beyond for everything. If Johnny is staying till 4, you gotta stay till 5. If they only gave them a 1-page thing, you gotta do 5. You gotta keep just you have to pretend like whatever it is, whatever thing they're going to already try you on or challenge you on, you have to already have a plan B ready to then when everybody else, like to your point, just can skate by and go
do the bare minimum.
Do the bare minimum and still be rewarded. Not just able to be maintained, keep those positions, but get promoted, get raises, get all these things above you just for simply existing, when for us it is 10 times harder. So I agree. I think,
and just constantly like also being watched at all points.
Yeah,
like time you coming in, time you clocking out, how long was your lunch, you know, what you wearing,
why were you in that meeting room for this amount of time, what were this and that, every little thing
is like under scrutiny when you're so that's why, like, for me, it really don't move me anymore at this point, like when I do go through things like that. But I'm definitely grateful for, you know, now being like the Black woman that I am, because I think a lot of times when you are an Oreo, it feels like, or first of all, other people label you as an Oreo. You never label yourself as an Oreo. And it's usually other Black people, and that would always frustrate, because you brought up like Black church, and that was my experience. Like, I grew up Kojic, and it was always like these kids making me feel bad because I'm the Black girl that go to like private school and shit. But it's like, nigga, we in the same church, like we doing the same shit. Like I'm blacker than you. I'm the blackest one in this group, dark as hell, and y'all trying to tell me I want to be a white girl. I don't want to be anything but me.
Right. I don't want to be anything but me. And I can't help the school that I go to.
I can't help the school that I go to. I can't help that y'all get to listen to rap and shit, and I don't get to listen to that. And so I do have to listen to Taylor Swift and Demi Lovato and
Justin Bieber, which is exactly what I look like when I was in high school. I had the hair bob and everything. But just like you, I feel like I got more of those comments while I was in school, where they're like, "Oh yeah, you're such Oreo," but it was because of the way I talk. They're like, "Oh, you sound," and even I get out here,
even now,
you sound like a newscaster. Okay, well then put me on somebody TV then.
Right.
Welcome live to Damsel DaBest. Back at you, T. If that's what it's got to be to make that coin, then whatever. But y'all not giving me no coin, so quit talking about it.
Or even having people like make it seem like, you know, your voice is fake, because I used to get that comment all the time, like, why are you talking like that? What do you mean? This is literally how, if I'm trying to fake my voice, like, it was, I don't know how to sound any other way. Like, this is, I don't, like, what do you want me to deepen it a little bit? Like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, my voice is very, because I remember when I first met Dominique, he was like, I didn't know if that was like your real voice, like when you first called me, or you were just trying to like be polite, or like, you know, how people put on like a voice. Right. And he was like, no, like that's your real shit. Like like that's your real shit. Like what did he say? He was like, have you ever thought of like doing like voiceover work? Like a voice actress? I'm like, are you trying to Joan right now? Right. Are you trying to be funny? Nigga. Like, man, it's very much like, oh, you speak proper. I don't know, bitch.
Yeah, I have to.
Like, what do you mean?
I mean, that's what the school taught. That's how I got this far. I'm gonna have to keep it that way. I mean, no, we can't use slang in the office, so I need to be able to articulate. However, and per my last, like, you need to be able to. I have to be able to articulate that to you. You understand me clearer than I understand you. I got out here, it sounded like everybody is just mumbling. It sounded like like, I can't hear I don't understand a word you're saying, using all kinds of slang like a Joan. I remember you said being green. I was like, oh geez, like I don't know, guys. Sorry, buddy. Like those, I got some of my best, some of those best things, like, you'll knock them dead. Like a lot of little catchphrases and shit got from them too. So, you know, we love white people also for all the things that they have benefited
their little
us.
Quirks, their little things. But yeah, but shout out to us being reformed Oreos.
Boom, still in the milk.
But if you like this episode, we appreciate y'all for sticking through it. Don't know again when we're gonna have another one. Could be next week, could be 2 weeks from now. Hell, it could be a month from now. I don't know. Life gets busy. But if you are still here, please like, comment, share, subscribe. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram.
Mm-hmm. And leave us a comment, even if it's telling us, fuck off, shut up, We
don't give a fuck. All engagement is good engagement. All engagement is good engagement. And until next time, bye.